to the Remso Republic.
What we do here is go back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Remso Republic. This is the episode I've been waiting for about a solid month at this point. Today I've brought on who many are calling the most interesting libertarian in America. We're going to get to hear his thoughts, we're going to get to hear his views, we're going to hear what's going on in his future. But before I go ahead and let you know who the most interesting libertarian in America is, let me go ahead and give you a preview. Right now, he's the managing director of the Neosage Group. He provides training, coaching, consulting to many industries, including finance, law, technology, media, and government. He has trained and coached hundreds of executives, entrepreneurs, leaders, and employees from dozens of organizations all around the world. He has a varied background, which began as a U.S. Marine. After the Marine Corps, he left to become an English teacher for a few years, and then worked in several B2C and B2B sales positions. In 2001, he started Prime Distribution, Inc., but sold the business after 2 years. After that, he founded Neosage in 2004 and has been training top-tier professionals ever since. He has been interim executive vice president and sales vice president for public companies and an executive coach for senior and C-suite management. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing I cannot forget to include, he was also 34 votes away from being the vice presidential candidate for the 2016 Libertarian ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Sharpe. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So, before I jump on, because I'm a bit of a fan, before I go on my tirade, one of my favorite quotes from you is that America is a land of second chances, and slowly that's going away.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I watched one of your videos because I'll be honest, I didn't know who you were until I watched your debate.
Nobody did. You're not the only one.
Yeah, but as soon as I did, I went on your website, I started watching your videos, which were excellently produced. It's sad how many libertarian candidates specifically, they try and do promotional videos and commercials, and they just come out like crap. But yeah, they were awesome. And the one video where you were specifically saying that, I went ahead and showed that to all my friends, even the ones that weren't libertarians. Now, my question to you is this. When I showed them that, I'm gung-ho. At that point, I'm like, it's Sharpe or bust, guys. We've got to nominate this guy. Now, for some of them are liberals. For some of them are conservatives. For my liberal friends, they were like, I don't feel like I'm losing any second chances. I don't feel like I'm losing any opportunities. What are you talking about? And then I jump on with my libertarian reason and facts and statistics. I'm like,
how dare you?
I know. It's basically like I'm committing a cardinal sin.
Yes.
But they're basically like, I'm getting my free healthcare. I'm going to get my free college. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. I can do whatever. What am I losing out on? Larry, how do you go to those people and say, you're losing so many opportunities and you're not even noticing?
Well, the first thing I'd ask them is, do they know anyone who's been arrested? Have they ever done drugs? I would ask them, have they ever made a mistake? I would ask them, have you ever made a mistake in just with your friends or family or in school, and you made a mistake and no one ever let you get over it, and they didn't forgive you? You actually wanted to leave, didn't you? You felt completely cheated, unfair. Well, imagine if it wasn't just friends and family who were treating you badly, but it was the government who would put you in jail or not let you vote or take away your ability to own a weapon. Think about those things. That's what you're missing. What's made America great is not the fact that we work hard or get stuff or do stuff. Lots of countries work hard. Germany works hard. Japan works hard. So what? It's the fact that we are innovative, the fact that we change, the fact that we fail and get back up. The fact that we're a nation of amateurs, a nation of second chancers, that's what's made us great. We've fallen into a trap, which it is both a Democrat and Republican trap, but in this case, probably more Democrat trap, which is, if you're an American, so you deserve. And we don't deserve, except chances. That's all we deserve is opportunity. What the Libertarian Party is about and the other two aren't about is we are about choice and opportunity. The Democrat Party is about safety and feeling good. The Republican Party is about righteousness and being powerful. And they're all wrong. What is right about America, what makes us right and powerful and righteous and good, is our ability to adapt, innovate, overcome. We were the first ones who thought really of this type of government. We were the first ones who thought of having, a United States. They didn't even know how to handle us in the beginning. They thought, do we send 13 different 13 different ambassadors or one? They had no idea how to handle us, and that's what made us great. We're a nation of second sons. The first sons all stayed in Europe. It's the second sons that came over here, those who had nothing to lose, those who wanted to go out into the West. This is what made us great and still has made us great. It's what's drawn the second sons and the brain drain from other countries. It's what's drawn the people who've been attacked or the people who've been persecuted. The brain drain we've gained of all the most powerful women who can't do well in their own countries but come here to us. Immigrants who built our railroad, who built our space program. This is what makes us strong. And so when you explain that to them, they sometimes go, but that's the reality. The reality is that's what's made us strong. That's what it is to be American. And as we lose that through bad foreign policy, through poor immigration policy, through foreign wars, through trying to make us feel like we deserve something great because we're American, not that we still need to be great because we're American, we begin to lose it all. And then we start to all of a sudden say, if you don't follow the rules, you're a bad guy. And if you're a bad guy, you deserve whatever punishment you get. We begin to worship not the principles of libertarianism, the principles of freedom, but the laws that the government has made. And laws, as you know, are often wrong and bad and immoral. But principles are eternal. And I think we've lost that piece also.
Yeah, I just want to grab my gun and an American flag and just start running around in the streets after hearing that, man. I'm pumped.
I need more people to do that, yes.
That's the remarkable thing, and what you just told me, many other people have said it. Now, whether or not they mean it or not is different. But the amazing thing about you is you actually do believe it, and you're
100%.
You don't believe it because somebody just drilled it into your head. You believe it because you've lived it.
I didn't know I believed it until I started hearing people talking about it, and I said, yeah, that's exactly what's happened to me and my mother and my wife's father and my wife and myself. I mean, this is what's been happening to us, and I've seen it. I've seen friends and family who, once they make a mistake, now they're done. That's it. Most people, when they fall down, don't get back up. We need to be able to get back up as Americans. And the system has to help us, not just try to punish us even more.
You're absolutely right. Now, from my end, I came to libertarianism through Ayn Rand, like many other people. And when I think of second chances, it's not just institutional chances. It's second chances because of the culture that we've kind of crafted through the generations. It's now where, everyone still has a drive for success, but not many people actually understand what that means. I remember, because I grew up a conservative, I had both my parents at home. I grew up in a very nice middle-class family. I'm a military brat. I didn't go without as a kid. But the thing about me was, as a teenager, I became very unmotivated at a time. I mean, it's not like I wasn't doing well in school. I was a smart kid, but at the time, I was still the new kid in my area. I went to a very, middle-class white school, and my last name is Martinez, so people have a certain thought about the type of person I was. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And nothing woke me up more than my freshman year of high school when, at the time, I thought I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy. My guidance counselor pulled me into her office, and she said, you know what, maybe you should not consider college. Maybe you should consider possibly going to community college for a few years. And, you want to do all these great things. Maybe you need to lower your expectations in life. And it wasn't until someone told me I need to lower my expectations in life that I actually realized, wow, maybe I should have some expectations.
Yeah.
And as I've
Yeah.
gone on and been successful in my own life, whether it's been, chasing careers, my education, the other ventures I've done, I've seen what it's like to live in a society where there are many people that just don't take that chance. They're told by others, they're told by their public schools, they're told by their bosses that they need to lower their expectations. Do you think it's simply an institutional problem, or is it a cultural problem?
It's a lot of things. I mean, you look at one great fact, which is our voter apathy, right? Voter apathy is a double-edged sword. Voter apathy says, so what? I don't have to vote because no matter what, my life's pretty good, right? I'm not going to stand in line and go crazy. And you know what? If some guy wins or loses, there aren't going to be tanks in the streets. There's not going to be blood in the streets. We're not going to have a revolution. So that's kind of a good thing. That's one good aspect of it. But the bad aspect of it is I begin to just expect everyone to take care of me. I start to come into a world of privilege, a world of entitlement. Now, the problem with that is, while there is a good side to that, meaning you don't want, that's a nice thing, but there's a problem with not wanting. If you don't want, you wind up not wanting to achieve either. How many people have you heard say things like this? You know what? There aren't good jobs out there. There's just no good jobs. Why doesn't the government make jobs? Why isn't things better? Yeah. What winds up happening is we fall into what I call almost like a peasant mentality, which is, if only there was a good king. If only there was a good king. Man, next time there'll be a good king, and then things will be good. When the king is good, then we'll be good. And I'm kind of joking in a way, but in a way I'm not, because we also have a culture of, particularly in politics, of monarchy, meaning we care about things like, what does this politician care about personally? We worry about that because we assume that whatever he or she believes personally, that's what they're going to enact into law. And I'm going to do a libertarian pitch. The Libertarian Party is the only one where I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to worry about that because I'm not going to enact my will into law. So even if I disagree with you on a specific point, it doesn't matter. Then I won't do it, right? I don't drink. I don't do drugs. But that doesn't mean I'm now going to, pass a law that says you can't drink or do drugs. If you want to, go ahead. It's not my business. I also, don't like Brussels sprouts. Doesn't mean I'm going to pass a law against those. But that keeps going on to everything. If I think, if I think we shouldn't, buy a certain type of product or service, now I'm going to ban them. Of course not. So I think this is a critical piece. We begin to think of a monarchy. People have to help us. We almost go into what's called in psychology is learned helplessness. It's an idea that it doesn't matter what we do, someone's going to have to come save us. And I think our culture has fallen into that. And it's a lot of aspects: politics, how we raise children, what we've done with government, how we've done a war on everything, a war on poverty. That'll stop poverty. A war on drugs. That'll stop drugs. A war on terror. That'll stop terror. And none of those things have stopped, and none of those wars ever work. But we just keep winning more wars. And not just that, we have the other thing we love, which is the drug czar and the terror czar. We've actually, made monarchies. We've actually encouraged the idea of emperors. And people say, great, now that this guy's in charge or she's in charge, now we'll be fine. We've lost the idea that if I want to make something better, maybe I should just go make something better. If I want to make something better, maybe I should just try to get my friends, family, people I love, companies, organizations, charities, insert organization here, to just go make it better. And this is something that used to happen, hundreds of years ago when we didn't have a choice. Now it's kind of made for us, and we've come to a point where we just expect it. And if it doesn't work, we don't even know how to not fix it. And that's a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, what you bring up is great, because I know many people who are talented, they're smart, I feel like they have a leg up on me in certain situations, but it's always, somebody else will do it, or, why put forth the energy when someone will take care of me? I feel like the drive for success has been lobotomized in many senses. And kind of backtracking a bit to my story and how I believe that you reach out to people like me is the fact that one of the reasons why I became a libertarian was because I didn't want to be like the other students graduating from high school waiting for the government to take care of me and for a handout, claiming that I was a victim of society because I didn't get the grades, because I didn't do the sports, because I didn't go out and do an Eagle Scout project or something.
Yep.
I was a libertarian because I knew that opportunities were most likely not going to come to me, and I had to go make them myself. And as I saw the obstacles that people were putting in my way and other people's way, I understood that we need that second chance that you believe is diminishing in America.
Well, I'll go one step further. It isn't just government. We think that if government doesn't do it, then big companies will, or big organizations will, or schools will. There's always someone else who's going to do this. And if they don't care about me, or they're not compassionate, or they don't love me, or insert thing here. Now, the problem also is we've been raised that way, right? We've been raised if you hear most politicians talk, they'll say things like this, hardworking Americans that play by the rules, and they say that with a sense of pride, like that's really important and valuable. Lots of countries have hardworking people who play by the rules. So what? Again, that's not what it is to be American. What it is to be American is to be an outlaw and change the rules.
I'm headed out west, sucker, because I wanna be a cowboy, baby. With a top left back and the sunshine shining, cowboy, baby.
Everything great that we've done in America is when we change the rules. I mean, as I mentioned before, Harriet Tubman's going to be in our money. She was an outlaw. Our founding fathers, they were outlaws. MLK, outlaws. We have in some way, shape, or form decided that every time something wonderful has happened in America, it's because the government did it, right? Lincoln freed the slaves, the Democrats passed the civil rights movement, insert cool thing here. But we forget that only happened because a bunch of outlaws were out there trying to be abolitionists, trying to march on Washington, doing a bus boycott. And the government was fighting them. The cops were arresting them. The cops were beating them. Cops equals government. And now all of a sudden it gets rewritten to see how government helped? No. See how not playing by the rules helped. See how not worshiping law, but instead caring about principles helped. That's the piece we're missing. We've fallen into the idea of if something is illegal, it's wrong. If you don't play by the rules, you're wrong. That is, without question, a recipe for stagnation. And that's what I teach in my business classes. That's what I teach when I'm in companies. If you decide, let's make a whole bunch of rules to cover everything, you ensure you punish innovation, you punish everybody, and nothing gets done. And I'll give you a great analogy I'm sure you've heard before. You have a company, they have a conference room. In the conference room, people go in and they have meetings. Great, to get things done, we hope. One day, after 5 years, someone spills coffee in the conference room. What's the first thing they do? That's it. No more food and coffee in a conference room. No more. End it. None. Now, no one can have coffee in the conference room. They think they've solved their problem through rules and regulations. Well done. They've done nothing. What they've actually done is now no one can have anything in a conference room. So guess what? Now no one uses the conference room. So now stuff doesn't get done. They've punished everybody, slowed everything down, stifled innovation so they can solve a problem through rules and regulations. That's happening every day in business, every day in organizations, every day in government. We have so many laws now on the books because everyone wants to solve every problem through law that no one can possibly in any way, shape, or form be responsible for it. I once teased someone and I said, you know what? All of our laws should be written in Russian. And the guy said, written in Russian? That's crazy. I don't speak Russian. I said, great. You can't read these now. It doesn't matter. So instead of hiring a lawyer, you'll hire a Russian translator. Either way, you can't read our laws. Either way, you can't understand them. Either way, you're responsible for stuff you can never, ever understand. Who cares? Make it in Russian. Same thing. And that's my problem. We should not be worshiping law. We should be worshiping principles. We shouldn't think that rules and regulations will fix everything. We want to make sure that we allow the freedom of people to do, to innovate, to change. And if once in a while someone makes a mistake or gets away with coffee, so what? Our country was built on the idea that I would rather a guilty man go free than an innocent man be imprisoned. That has gone away. Now we are about punishment, punishment, punishment. And if you've seen how it works, you get to go on terror watch lists. You get to go on lists. We arrest first. Now no due process. Now it's all about punish. If innocent people go away, so what? As long as I punish. The culture of punishment must be replaced with a culture of compassion and second chances. When we do that, we start winning again.
Larry, I think you brought us to the perfect place to leave off for a commercial break. Folks, you're listening to the Remso Republic. Hang on tight, and we'll be back in a minute.
Take the show on the go by subscribing to the Remso Republic on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, and YouTube. Don't be left out.
For years, the Republican and Democrat parties have used social issues and crises to keep us at odds with one another. They've divided us into groups and pit each group against the other, while those in government have together collaborated to strip us of our liberty little by little. In 2009, I decided to do something about it, and the Rupert for Senate campaign was born. Government of, by, and for the people requires our participation, not as voters, but as leaders and decision makers. But the parties have made it all but impossible for real, ordinary Americans to do so. So this average American has, since 2009, worked to give the voters, at least of Ohio, a choice outside the parties. The message is simple. The Constitution protects every American equally, but it's powerless to protect itself. That's our job, and it's time we take it seriously. I'm Scott Rupert, independent candidate for Ohio's U.S. Senate, and I approve of this message.
So, people often ask me what podcasts I listen to. When I'm not listening to old episodes of my own, that is. There are many great out there. There are some that are entertaining, funny, you learn from them. They just give you a great insight you're not going to hear anywhere else. But there's one show that really comes to mind when I think of where to get your starting ground and understanding what open minds and open markets mean. It's actually the show that I listened to when I first started learning about libertarianism. It's the Lions of Liberty podcast with its host, Mark Clare. Mark and his team do excellent things, from libertarians in a living room drinking liquor to Felony Fridays. They have a great list of just amazing interviews talking to the movers and shakers in the liberty movement. And let me tell you, if you want to get your friends who are a little apolitical, or they're a little liberal or a little conservative, but they like the ideas of liberty, Mark Clare will give it to you at the Lions of Liberty. So go ahead, check them out on Google Play, Stitcher, and iTunes today, and check it out for yourself. I guarantee you will not regret it.
Check it out today at www.lionsofliberty.com.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. Larry, so you and I we're both selfish in the Randian sense. We're not greedy, because greed leads to destruction. So you ran a last-minute campaign to be the vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
You weren't able to do that. So my question is, because I've seen a lot of people, they run for positions, they go out, and then they don't succeed, and then they lose all that momentum because they just quit and go away. You're not going away. In fact, you're just getting louder. You're doing more for the party by staying in and bringing your energy and just building more and more momentum than I've seen with the Libertarian candidate before. So my question is, what's your end goal? What results do you want to see by staying as active in the Libertarian Party as you are?
Well, I think we have a shot at real impact now. And the reason why I decided to run in the first place is when I saw it was Trump and Hillary, I thought, now America will hear us. They've gone to the point of almost self-destruction. They can't believe what they've created. So they'll actually listen to us now. And that's when I jumped in. I've been a member of the party since 2012. I never did anything in the party. I just wrote checks to help people out, but I didn't do anything.
Shut up and take my money.
I decided now was the time. And that's why I'm not stopping, because now still is the time. I spend time on the phone with different candidates when they need help, and I'll actually help them out to the best of my ability. I'll give them ideas. I'll give them my 2 cents on how to run a campaign. I do that on my professional life also, so I help them out. But more than that, I do my videos, which my video actually had more than one goal. Of course, the goal was to let people know what I thought, but the goal was also to kind of get people to understand how to speak to non-libertarians. Libertarians have a problem. We know we're right, and that can really be bad in communication because we start to dictate. We're right, shouldn't you know, don't you know? And then once we do that and someone doesn't get it, we give them the old one-word story. You're dumb, you're liberal, you're conservative, you're ignorant, you're mean, insert bad word here. I want us to not do that. I want us to have a conversation and realize that all the people who aren't on our side now, they are still a member of our American family, and we need them. They're not stupid. They're not dumb. They're human, affected by their environment, and they believe that their way is right. Our job is to talk to them, act like, not like we're their teacher teaching them something, but like we're their loving sibling, we're their brother or their sister, and we want to show them the way. Let's talk this out. Come home and let's talk. And eventually they'll realize we're right. And I'm trying to bring that to the party because we already have the logic. We've got the logic down. We need the emotion and the marketing piece. And I'm trying to bring that out. I'm helping out people to do that. And in addition, I hope to keep running. I want to keep running. I want to help raise money. I want to support the party because I think we can really have impact in these next, I'm going to guess, 2 to 4 years. And if we lose these 2 to 4 years, I can't guarantee, I don't think anyone can guarantee another Hillary Trump in 2020. We can't guarantee that. They may get their act together and go back to putting up some people with some charisma and then keep fooling the people into believing that, their form of tyranny is the right form.
So I'm glad you brought up Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I don't know if you did, but did you watch the CNN town hall a little while back?
I did.
So we're going to play a game real fast. It's going to be other reality. Larry Sharpe, you were the vice presidential nominee, and Gary Johnson is the presidential pick still.
I might get in trouble now.
You're on that. Oh, well, you want to be an outlaw, right? You respect the Outlaws.
I do.
If you were on that stage, the word association part, that's where I, along with many other people, just began to... It was as if we heard nails to a chalkboard. A small child getting hit by a semi. It was just vicious. So we're going to redo that, but this time you're going to be there. I'm going to say a word, and you're going to say the first thing that pops into your head. First one, Hillary Clinton.
Deserved.
Why?
She thinks she deserves this.
Okay.
She believes that she deserves this. She's been around. She's played the game. She believes she deserves this. She doesn't. It isn't the point whether she actually is good or will achieve anything or won't achieve anything. She believes she deserves this, and that's why she's doing it.
All right. Donald Trump.
A narcissist.
Okay. You see, you just did something very similar to what Governor Weld did. Governor Weld said that she was an excellent public servant. They had a strong bond going back to the Watergate scandal during the Nixon administration. And then when I mentioned Donald Trump, you were quick to state the obvious. He's a narcissist. Why did you feel to say that about Trump? Because I could say he feels just as deserving. He's always succeeded. He's the Trump. He makes everything great again.
There's absolutely a difference between the two, though. Donald Trump doesn't believe he's great because he's earned it. He doesn't believe he's great. He believes he's great because he was born great. That's a narcissist. Hillary Clinton believes she's great because she believes that she's worked for this and she deserves it. She believes she's put up with everything she put up from her husband and all the attacks, and she now deserves this. That's what she believes. So you ask what they believe. She believes she deserves it. He believes he was born for it.
Okay.
That's why.
I agree with your logic on that one. So that's essentially it. In terms of everything else during that town hall, I think Governor Weld gave pretty much the straightest answers out there. But everyone's going to be talking about Gary Johnson, Bill Weld. I want to talk about the down ticket candidates.
Okay.
You're going around, you're helping them, you're throwing in your 2 cents. You want to see a libertarian boom in 2016. How do you think that's going to happen at this point? Because as someone that's worked on Libertarian Party campaigns, it varies from state to state. Some states are very involved in their individual candidates. Others are more like, oh, you got the nomination, go out and best of luck. What's your biggest advice to candidates, even at the local or state level? Because I feel like everyone's going to run in head first. It's going to be fragmented. I'm afraid that while our presidential and VP pick might either help or hurt the down ticket candidates, I'm afraid the down ticket candidates might not necessarily do what's in their best interest per se. So what's your advice to them?
Sure, I'll touch both parts. I don't think that the Johnson-Weld ticket can hurt us. I think it can either do nothing or help. One of the two. I don't think it can hurt us because no matter, assuming they do well, and I hope they will do well, assuming they do well, more people will hear about the party. Now, how much will that affect us? I don't know, to be forward with you. I don't know. How much will our message get out? I don't know either, to be forward. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But I do believe if people hear about the party more, that is going to help who knows how much. I doubt it will hurt. When it comes to the actual individuals running, here's the number one thing to think about. Stop thinking about what you want to say and start thinking about what your constituents want to hear. Instead of saying, government's bad, I'm going to make government smaller. Instead, start thinking, what do people want to hear? They want to hear better government, sleeker government, efficient government. Speak in a language that your constituents will hear, as long as it means the same thing. I am not telling you to water down our message in any way, shape, or form. I hope you have never seen me water our message down. But you will see me speak in a way that lets people hear that message, because I try to think, what do people want to hear? I don't start a conversation with, I want to make government smaller. I start a conversation with, I want to service the American people better. Now, of course, you and I both know that means less government. I don't have to start the conversation that way. So when I'm talking to people, and when it comes to, what I call retail politics, the person in the down ticket who has to talk to the people, in the town halls, at the school boards, in the meetings, talk about what they want to hear. Focus on a couple of issues that you think matter to them and give them a libertarian answer. And remember, the end game is not smaller government for them. It is for us. But the end game for them is better service, better results. If you focus on your customer, if I can put it to a business analogy, focus on your customer. If you focus on your customer, they will hear you. And when you say you want to cut, shift, adjust, change, they will hear your message.
Perfect. So, Larry, we're going to take a quick pause and get ready for a commercial break. Folks, you're listening once again to the Remso Republic. Hang on tight. We'll be back in a minute.
Remso in the mix.
What's our problem with messaging the ideas of liberty? Is it the ideas? Is it the people? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's the fact that we're just not doing it in a smart type of way. This is where the Libertarian Youth Caucus comes in. The Libertarian Youth Caucus represents the millennial wing of the Libertarian Party. They're trying to expand the party base while finding new ways to communicate simple, timeless principles such as open minds and free markets. What we need to know is how to find the next generation of voters and make them vote for liberty. We can have a smaller government and a freer economy in our lifetime. And I believe that if we want to help invest in the Libertarian Party, the best way to do so is with the Libertarian Youth Caucus. Learn more about them today at lyc.silkstart.com. That's lyc.silkstart.com.
This message is approved by the Libertarian Youth Caucus.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for our final segment. Larry, it's been great having you on at this point, and I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't ask, but do you have any future political aspirations again? Or was this just the one glimmer of a possibility we saw with your vice presidential campaign?
Well, as I said, I jumped on for a specific reason, and people ask me, Larry, why didn't you try to run for president? And the reason was actually a clear one, and that is the top three people who were running, who at the time, top three people were Johnson, Peterson, and McAfee. All three of those top three people, they had a much higher profile than I had. So if I would have run, disrupted that, and actually won, I would have actually weakened the ticket. So I thought instead I'd run for vice president, and then I could add to the ticket. That was my goal. So in the future, I want to make sure that I have the biggest chance to have impact. Right now, I'm not announcing, I'm looking at running for governor of New York in 2018. It looks like I'll have the biggest, opportunity to win then. And I would look at trying either VP or president again in 2020 if I don't win in 2018. I'm going to try to win. I mean, in 3 weeks, I almost won the VP nomination here. If I have a year and a half or 2 years to prep for the governorship, I might win the governor of New York. Who knows? If I could take it, amazing, wonderful. If I can't, I would consider 2020 either president or VP, depending upon who's running for president. I want to add to the ticket the best chance of us winning, not subtract. If I think I'm the highest profile guy in 2020, I would probably run for president. If I'm not, I would support whoever that is by trying to run for vice president.
That's awesome. I know for me, Larry, you came in last minute, but it was kind of like your Miley Cyrus moment. You came in like a wrecking ball.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me.
A podcast a few days after the nominating convention, and I essentially said, you know what? I was not very excited for Johnson Weld at all, but I'm going to vote for them in November because I want libertarians to get ballot access.
Absolutely.
And then people were like, oh, well, you're selling out. You're going for the two Republicans. And it's like, you know what? Bill Weld, he might be our representative on the ticket, but count me as part of the Larry Sharpe wing of the party.
Well, I appreciate that, but at the same time, I want to be clear about something, and that is, there is our party is the broadest tent, the widest tent, and we are everywhere from the radical caucus to Republican light, and they're all members of our party. You know how I feel about Weld, and I will support him. But I look at Gary Johnson and I say, even though I know people aren't happy with Gary Johnson, a lot of people aren't in the party, he still is a libertarian. He's just, part of that closer towards the Republican light side of our party, but he's still a libertarian. So I will still support him, and I really hope he wins, and I'll vote for him. And again, he will, if he gets his 5 or 10%, you're right, he'll help the down ballot completely. He will help the tickets, underneath him tremendously if he can do that. So I think we should support him, and we should hope that he, does very well and helps everyone else out on the way.
You're my boy, Blue!
Yeah, I mean, that's just something I want to emphasize. I mean, this is one thing I'll always admire about the Libertarian Party. It brings people that you would have never thought would come together for a common cause. I mean,
100%.
I'm a Christian. I'm white. I grew up middle class. I have a different outlook on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I am friends with people who, before I really became a libertarian, became a member of the Libertarian Party, I thought I would never associate with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're part of the humanist movement.
Yep.
You've gone and lived a life that I will never live, good and bad. But we're here together because we want to craft a world where you can live as freely as you want as long as you don't hurt people and take their stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, did you see our presidential, group?
Yeah.
Muslim, Jew, Christian, humanist, women, minorities. Oh my God, it was everything.
I mean, it's phenomenal. You will not ever see that really anywhere else.
Nowhere else. Nowhere else will you see that group, that type of people who all can come together on one idea. Nowhere else can you see it except our party. We are the American party. The Americans have just been fooled into believing that we're not. We have to show them that we are, and I think this year we can start, and in the coming years we can actually do that. I don't want to replace either party. I want to replace them both.
That's perfect. So, Larry Sharpe, if people want to keep up with you and your misadventures, see all the amazing things you're going to go do in the future, how can they follow you?
Go on Facebook and go to the Larry Sharpe, Libertarian Facebook. That page is the page I do most of my goodies on. You can check that out. It's Larry Sharpe, Libertarian, the Facebook page.
Perfect. Larry, thank you once again for coming on the show. It was a blast having you on, sir.
I'm glad I came on. Thank you so much. And bring me on again.
Yeah, definitely. If you're game, I'm always here.
We'll
definitely do this. So, folks, thank you once again for listening into the podcast. Remember, you can listen to us through Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn. Just go on our website, rwmartinez.liberty.me, and click on the podcast tab, and you can listen to the show however you like, 24/7. I'm once again your host, Remso W. Martinez. As always, screw the FCC. Good night, America. And happy Independence Day.
Stay connected to Liberty's Rabble Rouser on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with the latest episodes, blogs, and other available content. What are you waiting for?